So look, there was me thinking that all of this terrorism, stabbing, murders, rape gangs and all of that could possibly be connected to mass immigration. But no, the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has clarified that actually the problem is that you can buy knives on the internet and you can say things on the internet that the government haven't yet regulated away. That is apparently the problem. And in a burst of controlled spontaneity, all of the newspapers today in Britain have picked up on that theme and they are running with this from the Mirror. So, total disgrace, he was able to buy a knife on Amazon because, of course, he couldn't have possibly got a knife from anywhere else, much less, the kitchen, for example. No, it's because he got it on Amazon. That is the problem. The Sun, the Amazon killer, because yes, it's basically Amazon's problem that he was able to get a knife. It is simply not possible to get a knife from anywhere else in the Britain, apparently. Here we are from the Times. Look, they've all gone with exactly the same angle, and it happens to be the angle that the government themselves want to see pushed. Isn't this extraordinary? Independent journalists from the Times are saying Southport killer got knife on Amazon. Right, okay. And look, here we are with the Guardian. PM's pledged to overhaul terror law amid tidal waves of online violence, because obviously people speaking online and not being censored and being able to buy things online and actually get them without having to go through a digital ID, well, that causes a tidal wave of violence. Here we are from the Express. Look, all of these newspapers, they've all decided quite independently to adopt exactly the same line. They're saying Britain's new threat from violent online misfits. Oh, I see. Oh, look, here we are. The Metro. Again, look, another one. War on misfits. And it's because Keir Starmer there, we've got a little picture of Keir Starmer and the Axel Mudegaard, whatever his name is, the guy who killed all those young girls and stabbed all the rest of them. We've got a picture of those two, and Keir Starmer has been explaining, yes, it's the lack of online censorship and that you don't have a digital ID every time you buy something, which is in fact the cause of all the woes in this country, is all the terrorisms, the stabbings, and presumably the mass rapes as well. Now, I have to say, this is shocking for me, and the implications are huge, because what if the Prime Minister is right? And he must be right, because he's the Prime Minister, of course, and it would be quite illegal for me, because I'm in the UK, to say otherwise. I'd probably get arrested if I didn't agree with him. But if this is true, the implications are astonishing, because, look, for a start, the history books are full of lies. Because, you see, Julius Caesar, he couldn't possibly have been stabbed in the Senate in 44 BC, because, of course, Amazon was founded in 1944, and therefore Julius Caesar could not possibly have been stabbed. Or possibly it's the line that if only the Roman Senate had digital IDs instead of carrying knives, then everything would have been okay. We can't be too certain on that one. What about the death of Thomas Becket? Stabbed to death by those knights in 1170. Well, presumably that never happened, because, of course, Amazon was only founded in 1994. Perhaps the assassination of King Edward II of England in 1327, well, simply didn't happen, because Amazon was founded in 1994. What about the murder of Jean-Paul Marat during the French Revolution in 1793, stabbed to death in the bathtub? Can't have happened. It's fake news, because, of course, Amazon had not been founded at that time. And, why not? We throw in Rasputin the Mad Monk, who was stabbed amongst many other methods of death. He was a tough SOB, that one. 1916, it was before Amazon. Clearly, it didn't happen. Well, now I've been thinking about this, and I've been thinking, well, look, of course I can't publicly disagree with the Prime Minister, because he will put me in jail if I were to do so. But just as a thought experiment, purely as a thought experiment, you understand, what if we entertain the notion that the British Prime Minister is absolutely full of it, and it is actually mass immigration that is the problem, and not the fact that we don't have digital IDs yet and we aren't being completely censored online? Well, that takes us down a slightly different path, doesn't it? Because then, if we didn't have mass immigration, well, the Lockerbie bombing wouldn't have happened, because that was done by an Algerian, no, a Libyan. That was done by a Libyan, and it blew up Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie in Scotland, and it killed 270 people. So yeah, if we didn't have open doors immigration, that wouldn't be an issue. What about the Madrid train bombing? Well, that was in 2004. A train bomb went off outside Madrid, and it killed almost 200 people and injured severely 2,000. Now, that was done by people of Moroccan and Tunisian descent. So, if we didn't have mass immigration, well, that one wouldn't have happened either. Well, that must no. Actually, I've got more. I've got more. So, what about the Paris attacks, including, of course, the quite horrific Bataclan massacre that happened as part of that? 130 people killed and many hundreds of more severely injured. That was done by ISIS-inspired descendants from North Africa. So again, another attack that wouldn't have taken place without mass immigration. What about this one? The London bombings of July 7th, 2005. That was 52 people killed, over 700 injured, and it was done by people of Pakistani descent. Oh, right, okay. The Brussels bombing of 2006. So this was an attack that went off in the Brussels airport and connected metro station, killing 32 people and wounding over 300. And it was done by people of Moroccan descent. So yes, again, something that wouldn't have happened if we didn't have open door immigration. The Manchester Arena bombing. So 22 people, there they are on the screen, they were killed. And injuring over 1,000, in many cases of them very severely. That was done by a Libyan inspired by ISIS, who, of course, came here as a result of open door immigration. Right. The Charlie Hebdo attack. 12 people were killed by somebody of Algerian descent. Berlin Christmas market attack. A truck was driven through a Berlin Christmas market by a Tunisian asylum seeker, inspired by ISIS, killing 12 people, severely injuring another 60. Now, I could go on. I mean, of course, there was another Christmas market attack just before this Christmas. There's numerous. I mean, basically, there were hundreds of other attacks that I could have mentioned that all fit the same profile. They would not have happened if it wasn't for open door immigration. So I will leave it for you to decide which line is more plausible. Is it the fault of Amazon? Is it the fault of not having digital IDs? Is it because we aren't censored online enough? Or is it because of mass immigration? You pick which one. Final thought, one thing I will leave you with is, why are these politicians across Europe so desperate to have this mass immigration? Well, here is the population of Italy, the population distribution. On the vertical axis, it goes by age, and of course, the width is the number of people in that cohort. What do you notice about this? Well, you might notice that there is this massive bulge of individuals around the 50 to 60 range, the baby boomers. Now, you might think to yourself, well, hang on, what is going to happen in just a few years' time when they all retire? How on earth is Italy going to pay for this? Because honestly, you need 3 working age people to support one retired person if you're actually going to do anything else apart from simply support the retired person. Now, the pension systems were putting in place when the demographic picture looked entirely different, but now it looks like this. That's why you get people like Giorgia Meloni who come into power saying that they're going to stop mass immigration, and then somebody has a word with them and shows them a chart that looks a bit like this, and they suddenly change their mind and they decide that actually mass immigration is a good thing after all. The point is this: we as a society in Western Europe, in fact across the rest of the world, are going to have to choose quite soon. Do we want boomer pensions or do we want safe grandkids? Because it's as simple as this. We have a social system at the moment which is you have cradle to grave atomization. You will live alone for your entire life, or at least the moment you turn 18, and you will stay in your own home until the day you die, supported by state pensions. But the system doesn't work. There are too many baby boomers, and the taxes have been so high for so long, property prices so high that young people are not having children fast enough. So we either import massively more people in order to pay out the boomer pensions, or we have a system where generations live together like they do in the rest of the world, like we used to throughout history, and grandparents spend time with their grandchildren are safe, and not that we import the third world in order to pay the boomer pensions, which leads to the sort of attacks we've talked about here.